On today's show, we're going to show you how to use Chat GPT to market your music.
This is 15-minute music marketing, and we're going to find out.
Welcome to 15-Minute Music Marketing, the show for independent artists and DIY musicians who want to get better at marketing their music.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hello, I'm Sheldon, and this is 15-Minute Music Marketing, the show for people who want to market their music, but do it at high-speed dubbing. If you remember high-speed dubbing, Greg.
I've actually got an old cassette player out with that on. It's like, the times, nostalgia.
Oh, the time you used to save. But in fact, in a similar way, today's episode is all about saving time, and it's about AI and Chat GPT. So tell me, how much have you dipped your toe into the water of Chat GPT?
I was asked by Google to test their Bard system.
Right.
And so I'm aware of AI. I didn't really find Bard particularly useful at the moment, but then again, my extensive knowledge of actually using Chat GPT or any of the AI stuff, I kind of get what it could do, but I just don't know how to get there.
Okay, well, this episode will be for you and for all our viewers and listeners. You probably want to know how it works, how you actually use the interface.
Yes, I mean, I've heard Chat GPT, but I've never actually used it.
Okay, so the best way to think of it is to think of it as a chatbot. You've used chatbots before where you type into it and have sort of conversations and ask it questions and that sort of thing.
Is it a bit like when you kind of have some of those automated, when you go on a website and you are you're trying to get through to the service or help department and something comes up and all you end up typing is agent? You
have a conversation with it as you would do a person. You can ask it for help, you can ask it questions, you can get it to do stuff, and once it's done stuff, you can get it to refine the answers that it's given you, or you can get it to give you more stuff based on what it's already given you, and you can refine the replies more to your liking. So, a question I have to ask you is, what is ChatGPT? How does it work, and why do you think it's relevant for our viewers and listeners on 15-Minute Music Marketing? Well, think of it in the same way as it's a tool, in the same way that a calculator. In this day and age, you wouldn't do long division or a big multiplication because it'd take you quite a while. What you'd do is you'd use technology to do those calculations, leaving you the time to do something else. So it's a tool which can pretty much do a variety of tasks that you can throw, an almost infinite variety of tasks. Think of it as a computer intern. Okay. So you ask it to do things and it will report back, and then based on the information that it's given you, you can say, right, from that, go back again, or I like some of that, but can you sort of rework it? So, but is this intern going to take over the entire business? No, what it will do is it will do a lot of the laborious tasks. Because all I'm hearing about AI is we all need to be afraid, and it is going to be like the beginning of Terminator. That's a slightly different thing. Let's just concentrate on marketing music, Greg. Going off. That's what you asked me. What have I heard about these things? Oh yeah. And these are the things that I'm hearing. So I don't need remember. We've only got 15 minutes. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I didn't even time it. Okay. All right. So go on. Then. What is it? Tell me. Okay. Right. So to get the best out of Chat GPT, some people will just go in there and go, "Give me a Bob Dylan song about ice cream," and it'll print out the lyrics. But there's better ways to do that. In order to do it properly, first off, you have to establish the context. So you get it to do a bit of role playing. So you actually type in and say, like, in our case, it would be, you are a top music marketing executive. Then you go on and explain the topic that we're going to be, that is under discussion. So you can say, this is basically the why, as it were. So one of your clients is an up-and-coming, as an example, dance/EDM producer. Most musical artists this size suffer in obtaining exposure for their releases. So, you've given it a bit of a bit of context. So now we can specify the task. So you can go, can you write a step-by-step 8-week marketing plan for this artist, which will help promote the release of this new track and maximise organic reach? The marketing plan should take into account current music marketing practices and suggest the best ways to promote music in 2023. Could you put the results in a table, please? And then, bish bash bosh, it'll, a week-by-week basis, all the things that you have to do. And the great thing is you can refine on that. You can say, right, give me a step-by-step guide as to how to execute everything in week 3. It's almost like fractals. You can then dive deeper and deeper into each individual result that it gives you.
Okay, so it gives you, like, I guess, you've given it the scenario and it almost gives you the script.
Yes.
Right, okay. So in terms of, have you applied any of this yourself?
Yes.
And, I mean, it does sound, on the surface, amazing. And have you tried to push its skill set, as in, give it really something really obscure? Or I guess what I'm kind of getting at, have you had any response that you've gone, oh, I didn't think of that? Even with your vast knowledge?
What it's great the great thing is that you can train it to do quite specific tasks based on the information that it gives you. Right. Well, in terms of the ways that, and because this is what I'm trying to do, the ways that we can use it specifically to help market our music. Well, the first way to do it is you can get it to write a marketing plan. So the example that I've just given you is an example of how to write a marketing plan. And you can say, do it over 8 weeks, do it over 10 weeks, do it over 5 weeks, do it over 3 weeks, and it will instantly regenerate.
So this is really what kind of marketing stuff Chat GPT can do for your audience, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And second one, and this was a killer. I was incredibly impressed with this. You can get it to write your press releases for your music releases or your band biography. The prompt that I give it in this particular instance was, you are a top level social media marketer for a major record label. I want you to write an artist biography for a band. The biography should be between 400 and 500 words. Again, this is almost like setting a task for an individual. The biography should be written in a way that captures the interest of the reader. I want you to ask me as many questions as you feel is relevant to write this biography, so you have enough material to use. Do you understand? So you can ask it questions. And then, let me finish. Okay. And then it asked me 12 individual questions about the band's origin, about the band's influences, its achievements, the messages or theme within the music.
So this is a real interaction here, isn't it? I mean, what I was going to say is it's almost like you're setting a student exam questions and you're wanting their reply.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I was grading some of these responses, 58%, sometimes going up to 60%. Again, some of them need refining, and I'll link to pretty much all of these in the show notes so you can have a look yourself. And
do you ever use anybody as an example, kind of going, can you do something like, this is who we see ourselves similar to? Or do you not go to that?
Yeah, well, no, you could do. I did one test whereby I asked it to find me specific marketing examples that Ed Sheeran had used and Taylor Swift had used, and it managed to research and find ways that they've used to market their music. So you might be able to do something similar if you were a similar musically themed artist to themselves.
Well, then this would lead to my next question. Okay, so you've used what ideas or what plan did a well-known, highly successful artist use. Now, are there any downsides to Chat GPT? I mean, how can you, so with that response, say to Ed Sheeran.
Have you read the script? That comes at the end, Greg. You haven't.
I sent him this last week. I tell you what. I thought we were here.
And well, no, remember how I told you that I'd taken certain things out of your script, and I had the full one. There you go.
I didn't know that.
15 minutes, it'd be all right. Look, let me go through another use. I've done this today, this very day.
Okay, extract what I've said previously. We'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Keep going, Sheldon.
It can suggest headlines for your videos or ad copy if you're running adverts. Right, so here's one that I used. I said, can you write me 10 headlines for a TikTok video which would help describe the content of a song about a relationship breakdown? The headlines should refer to the themes of the song, such as having your heart broken, and try and bring these to the attention of the viewer. Now, it gave me some quite generic ones which were quite rubbish. So I actually said, again, in terms of having this conversation, can you make these headlines so they appeal to the viewer on a personal level? And here's some of the best ones that I get. So again, think about you writing a song in the manner of Adele, heart breakup song. So it came back with, have you ever had your heart broken? This song will resonate with you. Going through a tough breakup, let this song speak to your soul. Feeling lost and alone after a relationship ends? You're not alone. And are you struggling to move on from a broken relationship? This song understands. And it's like, those at the top of your TikTok video, it's like, oh, that's probably better than I would have come up with, me being a heartless person and all.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Right, and here's another one. It can suggest your social content. Musicians are always going, I never know what to write and put on social media. Better to engage people. So I asked it. Eric Alper has a popular Twitter account. Can you suggest 10 social media posts in the style of Eric Alper's tweets, which would work as engaging social media posts for a young indie rock band in the UK? So, and here's some of the ones that I picked out. Do you prefer the raw energy of a live gig or the polished sound of a studio recording? Let us know in the comments. Who are some of your favourite UK indie rock bands that we should check out? What's the craziest thing you've ever done at a gig? What are some of your favourite lyrics from an indie rock song? What's the most unusual venue you've ever seen a gig at? Again, all pretty damn good, and I don't have to think of anything.
They're good conversation openers,
They
aren't
are.
And yeah, as you said, it's the funny thing is you're asking for something that relates to people by something that is not human.
Yes, it's quite
the irony.
Yeah, it's slightly dangerous, but the thing is, this is doing all the legwork. You're still the master. You're still in control, and again, you can further refine things and say, well, that's not good enough. So can you make them more? I don't know. If you wanted to, can you make them more aggressive? Can you make them more sexual? And it can spit out an almost infinite variety based upon your commands and suggestions.
I mean, in terms of, every time you've done this, have you ever asked the same question more than once to see how different the responses are?
There's a button on it which says regenerate response, so it can take the same instruction and just keep regenerating, and it will do variations on those.
I mean, on a scale of out of 10, 10 being you are absolutely impressed and you can't imagine this gets any better, and 0 being absolutely useless. I don't believe you're going to say 0. But I mean, in terms of where do you see this now?
I would say this is an incredibly useful tool as part of your marketing mix.
But what would you award it out of 10?
I'd say at the moment, I'd say 7.
No.
And I'm using the free version of Chat GPT, which is Chat GPT 3.5.
Okay, well, this will come on to the next question in a minute. But in terms of so how can it get better?
It will get better. It's not really connected up to the internet. Against Skynet, it's not connected up to the internet properly at the moment.
I knew Terminator would be coming to this at some point.
So it's not connected up to the internet. It's not based on sort of more recent things. A lot of the information that it uses is from it stops at a certain point in time.
But the thing is, if it's not connected to the internet, where's it getting its information from?
No, as in it can't go off and search. It's using information which is almost like archived.
So basically, it's like a librarian going into a Britannia encyclopedia kind of stuff and just finding the stuff out very quickly. And I wonder if Bard's any different.
I don't know. There's different language models, and they might take that information from a dated source. So I believe, Greg, you go on.
Okay, so right. So in terms of all this, sounds wonderful.
Wonderful.
It sounds amazing.
Amazing.
What are the downsides to it? And if there are any,
it can make stuff up. Take it all. It's like marking student work. for anyone who's ever done.
Is it a bit like using Wikipedia as your only resource?
Sometimes I think they refer to it as hallucinating. If it can't find the information that it wants, it doesn't want to disappoint you, so it'll make stuff up. There was a lawyer recently got into massive trouble because he did a load of research based on a specific, I don't know what it was about. It could have been about road accidents or law. And it cited a load of cases, like Smith v. Brown, 1948. It just made them all up.
Okay.
So if.
But in that side of things, okay, that's a legal profession. It has to be pretty precise. But with stuff that we're talking about in this show, it's creative. So does it really matter in that respect? If it's
maybe not in that respect. Again, depending on what
ideas.
Specific task that you do. So if you're asking it specific information, like for example, I asked it to find email addresses for playlists who are accepting submissions for, I don't know, EDM tracks. Again, I was just typing, and it gave me a few email addresses. I've no idea if they're actually right or not. I suppose there's only one way to find out. But so it can make stuff up. You have to be quite strict and sometimes retell it to do things in a specific way. So, for example, that band biography that I asked it to do, I asked it to limit it to a number of words, and it did almost like twice as many, and I had to keep saying, no. Can you shorten it down? And I had to tell it again. So sometimes you need to smack it about the face a bit, and you can't complain too much, but it can be a little bit vanilla and a little bit generic, especially the more you use it. It gives similar sorts of responses, maybe on sort of different topics, but I think some of that is down to the user and making sure that they create the best possible prompt, so in return it can give the best possible answers.
Okay, so to finalise and finish up this 15-minute music marketing, which might have gone slightly over.
Might have gone slightly over, but it's an important topic.
Okay, so you put here, can you suggest any further reading? But also, where do I go? Where do I find out about this? How do I sign up? You go
to the OpenAI website. We'll stick a link in the show notes. Like I say, the basic version of Chat GPT is free. I would recommend that anybody who's interested in using AI to enhance their music marketing get an ebook called Prompt for Musicians by Richard Bowman. Again, there'll be a link in the show notes. It's not an affiliate. We're just trying to help you out. I think it's a £20 ebook that will give you a massive amount of guides, and they go through examples of creating prompts step by step, and they show how to refine prompts, enable you to build up the skill
So they hold your hands and walk you through it.
We'll put links in the show notes as to most of the examples that we've used, so you can see me actually talking through and having a conversation with Chat GPT to refine the answers and responses, which hopefully people will find useful. Have you used Chat GPT or other AI models within your music marketing? If you have, what was it like? Let us know in the comments below. And if there's anything that you want us to discuss on a future episode, which hopefully will be a little bit shorter, let us know on the Spotify Q&A. We'd like to hear your responses, or just put a message underneath wherever you find this video /audio.
So there you go. We have just introduced you to your free best intern for your band that literally is going to cost you nothing. And so there you go. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, see you then.
See you then.
Bye.